Well, hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, and this is Mr. Pearson Talks Books. One of the things that I'm trying to do this year is I am trying to read through all 62 of the original Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine. Books originally came out in the early 90s, and I was in either 8th or ninth grade at that point. So I kind of missed the whole Goosebumps craze. I remember the TV show being on after school, and I watched a few episodes of that. And I know that there's a new TV show that's on Disney Plus and Hulu. But I am working my way through. Like I said, there are 62 of them, so it may take me the better part of the year to do so. But I've read the first 4 so far, and I would just want to give you my thoughts on those books and whether they might be appropriate for your classroom if you are a teacher. The first one that I read was called Welcome to Dead House. And Welcome to Dead House is about a boy and a girl. It's told from the sister's perspective, and they find out that their family has inherited a house from a long lost relative of their father's. The dad doesn't know this guy, he doesn't remember, but hey, they got a house. And so they move away from their town and their friends, and they move to this new town that seems a little strange. And suddenly the girl starts to see people in her house, and she looks, and there's a girl standing at the top of the stairs, and when she turns back, the girl is gone. And then they meet the kids in the neighborhood, and lots of strange things are happening, and their dog is acting weird, and all of these kind of things. You come to find out that there is something special, or something a bit dangerous, a bit deadly about their house. Hence the title, Welcome to Dead House. And the children have to convince their parents that this is not the place for them to live. I tell you, this book was surprisingly scary for a book that was written for middle grade, for ages 8 to 12. It was surprisingly scary in the things that happened, and there was a few tragic moments, things like that. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. I've actually read it twice. I read it last year when I tried to start this project, and now I'm reading it again this year in my read-through of all the Goosebumps. Really like this one, Welcome to Dead House. The next one called Stay Out of the Basement. And again, it's about a brother and a sister. And their father was a scientist working at a university, and he got fired because of a tragedy, some accident that happened. So he's been doing all of his experiments down in the basement, and they're really curious about what's happening in the basement. Dad won't talk to him. Mom has to go away on a trip because her sister had surgery. And so the brother and the sister are very curious about what's going on in the basement, particularly because their father's acting so strange. One day he comes out of the basement and he's bleeding green blood. And one night they hear a noise down in the kitchen. So the girl goes downstairs, and her father is eating plant food. And they know that he's doing experiments with plants, but they don't know exactly what's happening. And a friend of their father's, somebody he worked for from the university, comes over, and he disappears. And so they have to try to understand and figure out what is going on. I don't want to spoil it by telling you, everything that happens, but Stay Out of the Basement. Absolutely love this book. This one was a lot of fun to read. Again, there were some pretty tense moments. There were some scary moments in it. And one of the things that I'm noticing with R.L. Stine's book is there always a little twist at the very end of the book, usually on the very last paragraph. And this one, the twist at the end was phenomenal. It was fantastic. Book number 3 was called Monster Blood. And I got to tell you, this book was absolute garbage. I did not like this book at all. It was not scary. It was not entertaining. It's about this boy. His parents are moving to Atlanta, and so he goes to stay with his father's great aunt, who is deaf. She doesn't know sign language. She can't read lips. All she does is yell at him and do puzzles. And so he meets a friend in town, and they go down to the local junk shop. Finds this thing called monster blood. Looks like slime or something. And they bring it home, and the only thing his aunt says to him is, "Be careful." Well, as the story progresses, the monster blood starts to grow and grow and grow and gets bigger, and it can't fit in the can anymore, and then it can't fit in a bigger can. His dog eats some of it, and it causes the dog to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And things progress like that until the end of the book. And you get to the end, and somehow there's a cat that was turns into a witch, and she had put a curse on the great aunt, and that's why the great aunt can't speak, or you can't hear. I don't have a problem spoiling this one because this book is junk. I mean, no offense, Mr. Stine, if you're watching this, and I hope you are, but I just did not like this book at all. And then you get to the end, and nothing really scary happens. The aunt can hear again, and it was, I'll be honest, I don't really remember much because I hated it. But that's Monster Blood. If you're going for the complete series, by all means read it, but otherwise you can skip this one. The next one I read was called Say Cheese and Die. And this is about a group of friends who they break into this old haunted house. You see this guy, they call him Spidey, because he's just kind of wears all black, and he moves around town, slinking around. And so they think he's squatting at this old haunted house. And so they break in, and they're exploring, and they see his kind of little campsite, his table, and one of the boys finds a camera. It was hidden away. He finds the camera, and there's something unique and special about this camera, where when you take a picture, almost like a Polaroid, and rather than taking a picture of what is happening in that moment, the picture that comes out of the camera portrays an event where somebody gets hurt. Whoever's in the picture ends up getting hurt. So he, for example, takes a picture of his friend, and when the picture comes out, it's a picture of his friend falling down the stairs and getting hurt. And then when he gets home, he takes a picture of his father's brand new car, but when the picture comes out of the camera, the car is completely totaled. And then later that night, his dad gets in a devastating car accident and ends up in the hospital. There's different things. In fact, one of his friends, Cherie, takes a picture of Cherie, and later Cherie disappears. And they realize that it has something to do with this evil camera, and they try to return it, and that's when things go sideways. And you find out the true origins of this camera and why it does the things that it does. So again, this one was a little bit scary. I won't say it was as scary as Welcome to Dead House. It wasn't as good as Stay Out of the Basement, but it was a fun, enjoyable read. So I would recommend this one as well. And again, if you're going for a complete series, grab this one up. So of those four, Welcome to Dead House, I'd give that an A+, loved it. I would give Stay Out of the Basement an A+, loved it. Monster Blood, probably a C-. Again, I just did not like it. And Say Cheese and Die, I'd give that an A-. It was a good book. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. Not nearly as good as the first two. So the next one's up. The next four that I'm going to read are The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, Let's Get Invisible, Night of the Living Dummy, and The Girl Who Cried Monster. So those will be the four that I read, that I do on Goosebumps, to let you know where they are. Do I recommend these books? Absolutely. They are great. They're a fun read. They're quick and high interest. So if you have a third grade classroom, fourth grade classroom, fifth grade classroom, would definitely recommend that you get them. If you are a parent and you're looking for books for your kids to read, highly recommend these as well. They're spooky, they're scary, but they're definite high interest. And if you want your students to be reading, you want your children to have something good, definitely recommend those. So Goosebumps, what do you think? Have you read them? Have you read those four? Let me know down in the comments what you think of those. And again, my name is Jonathan. This is Mr. Pearson Talks Books, and we'll see you in the next video.